Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Trials and Trails of Life with me, Humza. I'm back out here in the woods, and, I stumbled across this just absolutely wonderful area that is really just a tangled mess of trees. And, it got me wondering, what's going on here? Because when I look at all of the rest of the area, all the rest of the woods that I traversed through to get here, I recognize that the scenery it's different. The landscape is just so incredibly just different. And I don't really know how to describe it other than, energetically, there's kind of a darker feel to this area. And when I look around, and even in my background, you can see just a tangled mess of trees. Some newer fallen, some appears they've been here for a long time. And I point all of this out because it's easy to come through this area and just judge it. Be like, wow, yeah, I don't know what it is, but this place it's off. And, if only the trees could talk. If the trees could talk, they would share such an incredible story, I'm sure, of what's happened here. Because what I recognize, and, I've had a little time to think about this, is what's happened in these woods. They've been around for, I assume, centuries. And in more recent history, I know this area was hit hard by the ash-boring beetle. And when I look closer at some of the logs, I see the insect marks that would reinforce that as part of the reason that everything has come down. And then, I think back even further, and I look at some of the growth patterns, how some of these trees have just natural twists to them. And, it reminded me that almost 15 years ago, or right around that, a tornado came through this area. And just a couple years back, a second one. So really what I'm looking at is proof of the power of nature, proof of the fact that life goes on, and also proof that what's, the observation at face value isn't the whole picture. And when I start recognizing how much this area has endured, and the trees that are still alive, how much they've endured and how much they've seen, it actually gives me a whole new appreciation for this area that I discovered. And, it's not about, this appearance of a twisted mess of trees. It's more of the stories. Like, seriously, look at how nature has just prevailed. A wind, when sustained to, steady wind, you'll actually see twists in the grain pattern, and it's a way of adaptation. And, I bring all of this up because I think that there's a really important life lesson that can be applied. And it's the fact that we go through life and we meet people and we see them at the surface, right? We see whatever it is that they show us. And most people, I would say it's a pretty human experience to have some type of judgment about that person, how they're acting, how they look, some of the stories that they share, when in truth, in my truth, there's such beauty in the potential curiosity that you can have. Instead of just coming at it with judgment, you can choose to come at it with curiosity and acceptance, because through that curiosity, you're going to find out so much more. And just as, I discovered the beauty in this landscape, because of the stories that it holds, you could also discover a hidden beauty in somebody else. And your relationship can dramatically shift because of that curiosity, because you were willing to take the time and ask the questions and do so not from a place of judgment, but really from a place of love and acceptance. And, you know, I wonder how dramatically that will shift your life if you consistently practice this, because under every single person's skin, guess what? You're going to find out a ton of stories. And there is true beauty in the endurance of the human soul. And so whatever the story is, whatever the journey may have been, it's like a scar. You know, it's a battle wound. It's something to take pride in and recognize that, you know what? I came from this point and I've been through all kinds of stuff to get here. And just take pride in the lessons along the journey, how much it truly took to get here, the growth, the insight, the learning, the pain. I mean, it's a total package. And, you know, through all of that, how much joy have you discovered in your life? How much joy have you discovered in the lives of others? And so I just share all of this. Felt particularly inspired in this area, in spite of the energetic, you know, differences. And, you know, I leave you with the question. If you went through life just being curious and open to hear the stories of other people, how amazing could it be?